Hello Exiles, Red Lord here, and welcome to this map boss farming strategy video for PoE2. And first of all, before we jump into stuff like investments and all the details, I'm gonna tell you some information. I'm gonna be running these maps on the build that I'm currently playing, and that's my Bone Storm Essence Drain Deadeye. So yeah, if you're curious, link will be in the description for the videos about this build. And in terms of other information, all the maps, all the waystones are going to be run in places such as this one, where there's basically no like additional content. Because I don't want to skew the odds, I want to see what we can expect baseline from the bosses and from the res in these maps, just without any additional effects like Abyssal Overrun. I'm going to be avoiding these maps completely, like Citadels, completely avoiding, like the special boss maps, also completely avoiding, as well as any corrupted area. I'm not gonna run those. I'm gonna run just something like this, just baseline plain, or with the powerful map boss. I don't think this actually has an effect, since we're using the empowering overseer tablet, which should empower the boss to the powerful boss version, to my understanding at least. And because we want to have consistent results, we're not going to be running local knowledge on this one, more on the skill tree in the skill tree section. And last bits of information, first of all, I'm going to show you how much rarity I have on this character. I currently have 124 item rarity on my gear, plus I've got the 15 rarity from Golden Charm, which is active every time when we're killing a unique enemy or the map boss. And I must mention, you're gonna need a build that has some decent damage. I luckily have one that does really high damage with the Bone Storm. So yeah, if you're curious, again, you can check the videos in the description, but you've been warned, the bosses are tanky. Alright, let's now talk about the Atlas skill tree that we're gonna be running for this one. And yeah, pretty much what I'm gonna be running, let's start off with the base Atlas. We're obviously, as it is with PoE, we're gonna want to have all the increased effect of map modifiers on your waystones. This is gonna result into increasing that rarity modifier that we're after, as well as increasing the effect of Precursor's tablets. That's gonna increase the effect of the quantity of items found we've got. And of course, unstable energies, just to get pretty much increased effect on modifiers. Ideally you would hit suffix, because suffix is what's giving you more of the rarity. But yeah, keep that in mind, these maps can be dangerous. Alright, and other than that, I actually spec'd into Guiding Light, Illumination, and Shining Trail, just because the map boss, thanks to our unique tablet, is gonna be guaranteed possessed, and this means pretty much 25% increased rarity for free on bosses. And that's what we're after. We want to get that rarity on bosses and as much as we can get. And yeah, other than that, it's just giving us some extra chance and extra quality of life for the wisps. We don't actually care about the wisp empowering the normal monsters and such stuff, because yeah, wisps are, I think everyone will agree, wisps are pretty damn bad. But we actually care about the possessing, and sometimes we can maybe get a yellow spirit that's gonna possess a monster and drop the serious talisman. But what we really care about is this Shining Trail right here, because of the 25% rarity to possessed monsters, and every single boss in the map every time is possessed because of our unique Overseer tablet. The other really important one, of course, is the map boss skill tree. We're gonna be running Fit for King for the 25% increased rarity of items dropped by map bosses, of course. 15 quantity from Spoils of War, Radiant Waystones, we've got to take this. And then I decided to go for Drawn to the Light, because we've got some juice for wisps, right? So why not just go for this when we're at it? And then Organized Forces, just for, since the maps are not going to be irradiated, the maps with powerful map boss are going to have +1 level. However, unfortunately, this doesn't really work for the Overseer tablet. So the maps that are gonna have +1 level are gonna be only the maps that naturally spawn with the powerful map boss like this one. Even though I'm gonna be using the tablets that empower the map boss, I don't know if it's currently a bug or an oversight or whatever. Currently, map like Step right here, even though I'm using the tablets, are not gonna get, this is not gonna get +1 level. However, Penitentiary right here, since it already has powerful map boss, is gonna get the +1 level. Alright, now for the example of map rolling, you're gonna want to start obviously with the Waystones, with the map. Doesn't matter what it is. If it's magic, just use an alchemy orb, or if it's normal, it's gonna be put into 2 revives available. Or if you have already rare Waystones, just exalt it up to maximum. Do this. And what you're gonna want to do then is click the Omen of Chaotic Rarity and then use Chaos Orb on the Waystones, and it's gonna reroll all the modifiers into modifiers that grant rarity, as you can see. And if you want to cut costs, you can just stop it like this, but the next thing we can absolutely do is use Omen of Dextral Necromancy and Preserved Vertebrae to guaranteed desecrate a suffix. And yep, that would remove 1 modifier, but we've got a high chance to get a really good modifier, such as this one. And I'm talking about these 2 suffixes. Yes, they do have quite a big downsides. 3 less movement speed and skill speed for each time you've used skill recently. That's why I'm saying, if you don't want to do this, you don't have to. You're gonna cut the cost, and you're gonna have some quality of life, some comfiness, but you're gonna get less rarity, definitely. Or this one, players are marked for death for 10 seconds. I obviously prefer this one because, yeah, pretty much this one doesn't give you such an annoying downside as this one, and you're losing only 5 rarity, and that's a good trade-off for me. Link to this PoE2 DB is gonna be in the description. And yeah, once we've desecrated the suffix, I desecrated both. What we're gonna want to do is just throw it into the well and see what we've desecrated. And you're after those 2 modifiers that give you rarity. So I'm gonna click this one because it gives rarity. It's gonna do its animation. And one thing I highly recommend, do this with multiple Waystones at once, because you're gonna skip the animation if you do it with multiple Waystones at once. I got it again, as you can see. Click it and we skipped the animation. And now both Waystones, instead of having like 120 rarity, they've got 150 rarity pretty much. And this is what you're gonna want to do, or what I will be doing with all of my 50 Waystones in this farming strategy. Now for the investment of this 50 map farming strategy, and prepare for a flashbang. 3, 2, 1. Flashbang here. Alright, this is the investment for those 50 maps. Everything is written down here except for alchemy orbs and Waystones themselves. And yeah, as you can see, everything's here. You can pause and read it all if you want to. At the time of recording, 1 divine was 1020x and 1 chaos was 31x. That brings us to total investment that you can see right here, 5560x, 180 divines, and 5.4 div, or 5.4 div, sorry. So yeah, this is the total investment. And keep in mind, as I said, everything is in here except for alchemy orbs and Waystones themselves. Alchemy orbs, because at the time of recording, alchemy orbs were like 28 alchemies to 1 exalt. So I don't think I should like even bother including that, because you don't even use alchemy orb on every single map while you're rolling them. And if you do, again, it was like 28 alchemies to 1 exalted orb, so they're extremely worthless, but useful. And in terms of Waystones, even if you don't have 50 Waystones on you, you can just start with 1, and if you complete the map, you're gonna get guaranteed like 1 or 2 waystones from the boss, since you're always gonna be running those empowered bosses, and that means you're gonna get higher waystones or the same amount of waystones. So that shouldn't be a problem, and you shouldn't have to buy any waystones whatsoever. Alright, but in terms of tablet, the important information, these two are unique. Just be careful about these pseudo scammers on trade. What people will do, they'll buy a couple of them, they'll list one for 5 exalts, and then they're put the other ones close to it, and the other one's gonna be listed for, I don't know, 5 chaos instead of 5 exalts. So just take care, be careful about this. I've run into this multiple times while buying those tablets. People are doing this, and yeah, just be warned. But in terms of the magic precursor tablet, only one we're using is this Overseer precursors tablet, and I went for double quantity. That's why these are a bit expensive. All of these cost me 1 annul each. That was like, yeah, I don't know the exact ratio exalt to annul, but yeah, you've got that in the investment itself. So yeah, I went for minimum 7 quantity on the map. On the prefix, I went for minimum 7 quantity and minimum 17 quantity for map bosses. That was the minimum rolls that I went for, and I got these each one for 1 annul. Keep that in mind. Alright, and I believe that should be about it for the investment. Alright, and in terms of the items, everything's gonna be stored in these 2 quad tabs, nothing else but the items from those 50 maps. As you can see, this one has affinity for unique, so all of the unique items, unless they're already disenchanted, are gonna come into this quad tab, and also rares are gonna be in this quad tab, and the rest of the stuff is gonna be in the other quad tab in terms of like currency, tablets, delirium, even waystones. All of it is gonna come into this quad tab right here. And the rest of the stuff, I mean rares and uniques, are gonna be in this quad tab right here. As you can see, all of my affinities are turned off everywhere. Only these 2 quad tabs have them. And if you're wondering, of course I'm not gonna be including stuff like earnings or yeah, currency from trades in these results. Only stuff from the maps is gonna be included in results. Alright, and I guess that's it for the information you need to know. Now I would say enjoy the highlights and see you in the results. Are you? Is the Wisp fucking with me? What? Game! No! Stop it! Can the Wisp... Yo! Can you move? Oh! That was random. Yoing. Alright, it's nutty time. Nutty. Let's see what can we do here. Oh, no. Got a Shroud Walker. Alright, let's see. Bomb. Oh, yeah. I didn't even lose that many frames. The Scepter OP. It keeps your frames. Oh, what's that? Ugh. Do you see it? Delirium. Do you hear the gray fog? Ugh. Ugh. Avoid that. Noise. Ah. You got ourselves the grand project. I can't see shit. Okay, that's fine. I can't see shit, but I killed him. Easy. My god, can it stop? Serpent Clan! Ouch. My god, where's my damage? Is the monster immune to crits or something? Oh, weird. Ah, divine, yes! Bonus to dust. Ooh, divine! Debated. This one's tanky and deals a shit ton of damage. He dead. He dead. I didn't change the loot filter. Yet another bait. No, yet another bait. This is 20x or something. 29x or something like that. That's a distant shrink. What is it? What is it? It's a bait. Oh! That's something! Yay, magic find works. That's couple div, right? Or div unID'd. Perfect. Oh, this is almost good. Just imagine the rarity. Oh my god, that's unfortunate. Just imagine the rarity actually being a suffix instead of the reduced attribute requirements. Oh, yoink. I'm gonna take that. My god, it's already almost 4 o'clock. Dodged that delirium like a pro. Did you see that? God, I'm so good at dodging delirium. Get fucked. Okay. That's a lot of items. That's a lot of items. Sinistral necromance. Omen of Light. Are you... Literally, like 30 seconds ago, I was saying it's been such a long time since the last time I got something like Omen of Light or something good. No bloody way. Alright, we're back. I hope you enjoyed the highlights. And let's see what we've got. So this is the tab where there's Abyss stuff. And other than that, pretty much things that didn't fit into Affinities. And rare items and unique items. That's everything is in here. I've put some of the like decent rare items at the top right here because I plan to continue and do something with them. And the most notable drops in this tab were the Veil of Night, currently goes for like 2.5 div, and Omen of Light, which currently goes for like 4 div. So yeah, with these 2 items alone, I know I made my currency back, which is good. And this tab right here is pretty much all the currency. And yeah, as you can see, 4 raw divs, 9 greater exalts, 33 chaos, 1 perfect regal, and 2 greater chaos orbs in terms of exalted orbs. It's like, yeah, roughly 140x, something like that. Nothing remarkable, really. Yeah, not that good. But this actually isn't what we were after in this strategy. It was more about the rare items, and I already know with the unique right here and the Omen of Light and the raw currency that drops that I more than doubled my initial cost. But it isn't anything like super special. And yeah, I would really recommend to watch the conclusion portion of this video because that's where I'm gonna talk about a little bit about what this strat I believe would be good for and when to use it and what I think are the downsides of this strat, because there are some, definitely there are some. But yeah, this is the items. In terms of how am I gonna price stuff, first of all, the most important I would say, even though in this strat we're pretty much after the tiered items that drop on the ground, we're not gonna be putting those into the currency made results into the sheet I've made. And why? It's because this stuff is highly dependent on the section of the league you're in. Currently, for example, helmet like this is a really good helmet. This is pretty much the triple like perfect prefixes, and armor also applies to Ellie. This, like, imagine getting it at the beginning of the league, requires level 65. Imagine getting like this 1000 plus armor helmet at the beginning of the league, and 1000 plus armor helmet because of iron reflexes, of course. But yeah, with armor applies to Ellie at the beginning of the league, this would be amazing drop. But currently, yeah, 40x. And this, I know this is searching for stuff with quality and iron runes, but doesn't really matter. Even if I would put higher numbers right here, it would be like a divine maybe. And yeah, so I can easily give it resists, but yeah, stuff like this not gonna be included because it varies a lot and it takes time to sell. So the things that are gonna be included are gonna be the most liquid stuff and uniques. Uniques like the Whale of Night. Even if I wouldn't sell it instantly, I can pretty clearly see that the price is like 2.5 diff. So for example, this item, I'm always taking the lower end price. So this is gonna be counted as 2.5 diff, even if I wouldn't instantly sell it. And other than that, this comes with all the uniques, and at least those that are worth something. And in terms of currency, I'm gonna liquidate it everything into probably divines and exalted orbs, or divine and chaos orbs. And in terms of stuff like tablets, also not gonna count them. Yeah, because you can think of it as tablets are gonna be something, if you're willing to sell them, they're gonna be something that you're going to, as a cherry on top, you can think of it, basically. But yeah, just counting tablets, that's extremely RNG and not the target of this strat, so I'm not gonna be counting even like normal tablets. So pretty much basically currency. Maps definitely not counting. I was just curious how many maps will I get back in, yeah, in those 50 maps. Let's type in tier. Yeah, quite a bit of maps. I would say that's over 50 maps. So yeah, that was just because I was curious. But yeah, pretty much just currency, essences, catalysts, all of that fun stuff. And that's how are we going to be pricing the items. Alright, in terms of results, here it is. 14 divines and 34x. That's after liquidating pretty much all the, like, the currency, omens, and all sorts of stuff have been liquidated. And also unique items, except for rare items. Yeah, rare items I didn't liquidate, as I said. I'm not gonna be selling these right now because I need to either finish them off or just otherwise keep them as a thing, like an extra you can make, even though the strat is pretty much revolving around dropping rare items. But this alone, 14 diff and 34x, flashbang warning, 3, 2, 1, puts us at a profit because we spent 5.4 diff on the strat and we made back 14 diff 34x just from the liquidable stuff, not counting any rares. The most notable drop I noted right here: 4 diff, Omen of Light, Whale of Night, 2 times Grand Project, and 1 Freedom of Faith. These are unique tablets, by the way. And yeah, that puts us to profit of 8.6 diff, and if you really want to, 34x. So profit 8.6 diff from just the liquidable stuff. And yeah, I mean, nothing extraordinary, definitely not. However, all I needed was to make money back with the liquidable stuff, and the actual profit should be in those rare items. But more on that a bit later, because now I want to show you what to do with the rare items. What am I going to do with the rare items, at least? Alright, so what am I going to do with these rares that are pretty much halfway done? Perfect example would be this body armor. This is really similar thing that I was using on my previous build before this one. And yeah, just, I mean, triple tier 1 prefixes, tier 2 flat armor, which means I'm probably gonna do something like homogenizing, greater exaltation, and perfect exalted orb, and we should be getting double percentage armor on the prefixes, right? So let's just click it, and as you can see, this is actually really goddamn good. I was lucky. I got tier 1 increased, and I've got the perfect tier 2 hybrid that I wanted, with flat and increased. This is actually really good. And this now will cost, let's just see, apparently around 10 diff. And if it's this base, maybe a bit more. Yeah, probably not 45 diff. But yeah, something like that. And this is actually where the real currency should come from, right? Items like these that just drop halfway done with 4 affixes that are ideally tier 1 and and you just finish them off with simple crafting like that. I spend on that on that crafting currency, I spend like, I don't know, a divine or something like that. And yeah, now I got a 10 divine body armor. So yeah, stuff like that you can actually make currency on. And that's what I'm gonna be doing with pretty much the rest of the stuff, pretty much finishing it off. For example, this spear right here, this helmet right here. Yeah, this is what I'm gonna be doing. Alright, now for the conclusion. This strat, even though you definitely are, I would say, baseline gonna make some profit, or at least make the money back with the baseline drops, this is gonna be heavily RNG based, especially in this state of the league, because pretty much all the loot is centered around rare items, and yeah, rare items that you usually finish with crafting. Like this body armor I have right here, it had triple tier 1 suffixes as you see them, and it had tier 2 flat armor. I just did perfect exalted orb, homogenizing, and the greater exaltation or whatever it is to just give me 2 exalt slam instead of 1. And I got this. I got tier 1% increased and tier 2 hybrid that you want with the flat and the increase. This is perfect body armor. I would be able to sell it for a lot now with runes and all of that. It's 2.5k armor. And as you can see, the price is quite ridiculous. Probably not gonna sell it for this, especially at this point of the league. But yeah, I'm about to quit this league anyways. But yeah, stuff like this can and will eventually happen. But it's heavily, and I mean heavily RNG based. And yeah, it's gonna take quite some identifying of rare items and just checking all sorts of stuff, if it's valuable, if it's not, because yeah, your average rare items not gonna look like this. Your average ground rare item is gonna look something like this. That's a mace. That was tier 5 strafe pick, by the way, item level 82, tier 4 flat fizz, tier 2 mana leech, tier 1 life on kill, and tier freaking 3 mana on kill. This is gonna be your average tier 5 item that you find, and this makes it extremely tedious because on average, if you count tier 4 and tier 5 items, you're gonna have like 20 rare items tier 4 and tier 5 combined from a boss on average, not counting the rest of the items from the map. On average, just from the boss, around 20 items. And that's extreme amounts of just picking up the item from the ground, going to your inventory, boom, 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 identify, and then you need to, after identifying, you need to glance over this, and then throw everything on the ground. And if you're lucky enough to have some decent items, let's say a full inventory of items that you can craft on later on, then what you need to do is go back to your hideout, throw it in the stash, go back into the map and do it again and again. And all of that micromanaging makes it extremely tedious and definitely not for everyone. So yes, even though things like this can happen, and this is, I mean, I love this body armor, this is ridiculous. Unfortunately, I'm probably not going to be starting another character to enjoy this body armor, but I mean, this is really good stuff, right? This is really good stuff. 2.5k armor, tier 1 res, armor applies to Ellie. Stuff like this can and will happen, but as I said, most of the time it's gonna be shit. And yeah, this makes me think this strat is gonna be much better at the beginning of the league, where stuff even like these boots are gonna have some value. Yes, you would be right thinking that it's gonna be better at the beginning of the league, but then on the other hand, for this farm you need a really good character with strong single target, because some of these bosses, they're tanky, really, and I mean it, really tanky. Yeah, so I mean, that makes it kind of counterproductive, right? Because yeah, you want to do it at the beginning of the league, but at the same time you need a really strong single target character. Kind of counterproductive, right? Maybe some lesser version of this farm would be better. Just, I mean, going for just quant precursors tablets and not the unique ones that make them really hard. But yeah, I mean, something like that. Some iteration of this farm would be, I would say, really good at the beginning of the league. But yeah, I just kept these rare items that I'm gonna eventually craft on just for fun. And yeah, perfect. Another example would be this helmet right here. This is pretty much something really similar to my body armor, but on a hybrid base with iron reflexes, you could convert the evasion to armor, right? So this is essentially like 1000 armor helmet with 2 open suffixes. And yeah, the price on this item isn't even loading. Yeah, like, what's that? Like 50x? I know this is gonna appear with items with runes and quality and full affixes, but even then, I mean, really? Like, yes, I'm gonna make a profit after I'm finished with this helmet, but stuff like this, just imagine dropping this helmet at the beginning of the league, right? Just imagine it. Every warrior would be just drooling all over the place. Every warrior with iron reflexes, that is. So, yeah, like, stuff like this can happen, will happen. It is epic when you actually pick up item and identify something like this. This actually is really good feeling to have. But most of the time, it's gonna be discouraging and tedious because of the stuff like the mace I've showed you. And that makes me think that something definitely needs to happen to ground loot. I mean, stuff like this can and will happen. It is RNG based, but at least with the baseline drops you're gonna get, I think you're always gonna make your money back. And then even if you would drop completely nothing, hey, at least you made your money back, right? Yeah, I mean, it's heavily RNG based. And to be fair, I've got a couple good items. I've got this helmet right here. I've got these gloves, that body armor. Maybe even this would be good since it's like the tier 1 on the same base and it has resist. Yeah, maybe this is gonna be good after I'm slam on. Hopefully I'll slam on increased armor, all of that. Same goes with this. Someone, I think, yeah, for example, I know that pretty much no one's using armor energy shield bases, but I would be using it on maybe my next build, so I could actually keep this and use this body armor. But yeah, as I said, I'm about to quit the league for now. But yeah, that's, I would say, the conclusion. Sorry it took a little long, but I think I said what I had to say about this. And yeah, if you don't mind it being a bit more RNG based, then go for it. It's a lot of fun. I love killing bosses. I love identifying those items, but as I said, at a certain point it becomes a bit too tedious to do. So with that in mind, thank you very much for watching, Exiles. Thank you very much if you made it this far to the video. See you in the next one.